If you played platformers at all in the 90s, you're probably aware of Crash Bandicoot. At the time, his games seemed to get better and better with each release. That was until Naughty Dog moved on, and the Crash franchise was passed to other developers. And today, Crash has returned with remasters of the games we all know and love. When I looked at Crash 2 again, it was just as much fun as I remembered, but the addition of the time trials left a bitter taste in my mouth. Today, we're gonna see if I feel the same about the third game in the series, when I recomplete Crash Bandicoot Warped! Now, before we start today's episode, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to our sponsor, ExpressVPN. Now, ExpressVPN is a great service you can use to protect yourself when you're searching on the web. Whether it be your browser history, your emails, streaming services, the best way to really enjoy the internet is through your own privacy. Privacy is a huge thing for me personally. I use ExpressVPN every month because I travel a lot and I'm in different countries, different states, and I really like to value my privacy when I'm doing anything, whether it be streaming or even just emails. It's easy to use, it's available on every browser and phone type, it's available in over 94 countries, and it's one of the fastest VPN services out there. Not only can you protect yourself on your PC, but this also works for tablets and phones as well. And if you want to go a step further, they even have an app to protect all devices connected to your routers at home. So everything can be safe with ExpressVPN. So if you want to sign up for ExpressVPN today, head over to expressvpn.com/complete and sign up today. It's less than $7 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. And hey, if you sign up for a year, you get 3 months for free. Again, that's expressvpn.com/complete, or click the link down in the description box below, expressvpn.com/complete. Bam! Sign up today. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of the Completionist New Game Plus, the show where I'm recompleting the first 120 episodes of the original Completionist. More on that in the description box down below. Now, I love the Crash Bandicoot series, the original trilogy, if you will. I think the N Sane Trilogy is a great way to get new gamers and classic gamers together to enjoy the franchise as a whole. So, personally, I am super stoked today to finally complete Crash Bandicoot Warped on the N Sane Trilogy. Again, because I'm redoing it, New Game Plus. I'm stoked to redo it again. Let's begin. Back in the day, many people considered Crash Bandicoot 2 to be one of the greatest video game sequels of all time. Hell, some people even called it the perfect sequel. It took all the charm of the first game and greatly improved the controls, graphics, and even the menus. So how do you improve upon perfection? That's the impossible question that Naughty Dog had to answer. And not only that, but they had less than a year to do so. Now, most people would just try and churn out a game that was almost exactly the same with maybe some minor improvements. Fortunately, Naughty Dog is not made up of most people. In 10.5 months, Naughty Dog improved the graphics and controls even further. They added a new playable character named Coco, created 3 new gameplay engines, and even added an actual shadow to Crash instead of a dark circle. When you're so short on time, why would you even bother with such a trivial detail? I'll tell you why, because Sony was tired of seeing the little disc around Crash and wanted to see an actual shadow. And when the boss wants something, the boss gets it. Trust me. I know. This insane amount of work resulted in Naughty Dog creating what many critics claim was the best 2.5D platformer ever made. But this was released over 20 years ago. A lot can change in 2 decades, including your whole game getting remastered with completely new gameplay engines. And that is the version we are looking at today. And with that, this remaster has gotten some pretty interesting responses. If you have seen my previous New Game Plus episode on Crash 2, you know that some people have called the N Sane Trilogy the Dark Souls of platformers. While I greatly disagree with the usage of this term and make fun of people who do so, I would be lying if I said it didn't make me a little bit nervous when it comes to completing this game again. But you know what? This isn't my first platformer, this isn't my first Crash game, and I've already completed the original. So, bring it on, Mr. Bandicoot. Now first up, I'm gonna have to beat that story into the ground, grabbing every crystal and beating every boss. Honestly, not too worried, pretty easy. Next, I'm gonna go back through the levels and grab all of the gems. These are unlocked by breaking every single box in the level or by meeting special requirements for a color gem. Now, I can get a lot of these on my first playthrough, and once again, I'm not too worried about it, and I will try, but I can't get too comfortable because a lot of these cannot be done unless I do other stages. After that comes collecting the relics. Now, these Ankh-shaped bad boys are obtained through my absolute favorite thing in the world, time trials. And there are 3 degrees of difficulty when it comes to beating these bad boys. In Crash 2, they were the bane of my existence, and I am not happy to see them again. Finally, I'm going to finish this game off by getting all of the trophies. Most of these are connected to the story or previous steps of the completion process. The last few left are pretty humorous, and frankly, I'm gonna need that after I do these damn time trials. I know that these time trials are going to be hard. They're hard in every game that they're in. But you know what? I have faced them before, and I could face them again. I've gotten better in every game I've ever played, and you know how that saying goes. Completionists are not born great. They become great. The N Sane version of Crash Bandicoot Warped is every bit as fun and charming as the original. Dare I say, it may even be better than the original. Crash 3 starts out with what's left of Cortex's space station crashing into an ancient tomb on Earth. This unleashes Uka Uka, a mask who is not only the brain behind Cortex's schemes, but also an evil twin to Aku Aku, the Tiki mask who has been helping you throughout your journey thus far. Uka Uka brings on the help of Dr. Entropy, a master of time and creator of the Twisted Time Vortex. The villains begin traveling through time and collecting crystals, and it's up to Crash, Aku Aku, and his sister Coco to beat them to it. Now I gotta admit, while I am very nostalgic for Crash 2 and its plot, I think the plot of Crash 3 does a great job of upping the stakes from the previous game. That silly guy whose butt you kicked before, there's even someone more evil than him behind the scenes, and he's bullying the silly guy. All of those ice and tropical levels you were used to visiting before, gone. Now, you're going all throughout time, baby, to places that a Bandicoot has never been to before, like China and space. Unless, wait, hold on, let me check one second. Okay, so apparently there are some animals called Bandicoot rats that are found in parts of Asia that Bandicoots are named after, but they're not actually related, and there are still no Bandicoots in space, so good to know on that front. Speaking of Bandicoots, Crash 3 introduced Coco Bandicoot as a playable character. Originally, she was only available in the vehicle missions, but Vicarious Visions and Toys for Bob give you the option to play as Coco instead of Crash in the platforming levels, similarly to how they do in Crash Bandicoot 2. She's super dorky and super cute, and I love having the option to play as her. Now, this time travel element leads to a lot more variety in the level design. I already mentioned China and space, but with Crash Warped, they also take you to the Middle East, the US in the 50s, and even medieval times, which is also where I'm going to go for my birthday next year. This amount of variety extends to the enemies too. I know they're mostly the same looking scientists in different costumes, but the death animations caused by them are almost always unique and always hilarious. This tone extends all throughout the game and is supported by the fantastic music. While it's not quite as memorable to me as Crash 2's score, the updated score in the N Sane Trilogy is marvelous. Crash's tone has always been super cartoony and wacky, and going to battle against Sonic's too cool for school attitude and Mario's hardworking everyman, this wackiness was really appreciated. And the N Sane Trilogy only perfects this. But what about the gameplay? Well, it plays almost exactly like Crash Bandicoot 2. You run, you jump, you spin, you crouch, you body slam, and you slide your way through most of the levels. This could have easily gotten old, this being the third game and all, but Crash 3 is balanced out by some extreme vehicle action. That's right, you're flying planes, riding motorcycles, jet skiing through waves. But my favorite extreme vehicle has got to be Pura the Tiger. What's that? This cute little kitty isn't extreme? You are riding a freaking tiger! Nothing is more extreme than riding a motherfreaking tiger! However, no matter what gameplay is required of the level, the goal is always the same. You'll want to collect a crystal hidden somewhere in the level. After you get 5 crystals, a boss battle appears. Rinse and repeat until you have all 25 crystals. The bosses are simple, but also pretty fun. The coolest boss fight has got to be N Jin. He flies around in a mech, you shoot at him with your own spaceship as Pura helps you out. I'm telling you, this tiger is the most badass tiger in gaming. Sorry, Tiny. Crystals are the main collectible, obviously, but it's also best to break as many boxes as possible in order to unlock the clear gems at the end of every level. But there's a bit more to it than just walking around and punching boxes. This is because there are some different routes that you'll have to take in some of the levels that you may miss the first time around. The first type is the death route. These are platforms that remain visible if you get to them without dying once. Some are more of a pain than others, but with a little patience, it shouldn't take any time at all. The other route is called a gem route. There are 6 colored gems that, when discovered, unlock a special path. However, some of these gems grant an extra path in previous levels, so you're going to have to do some backtracking. Since none of these levels are too long, this never gets too irritating. But now, it's time for the hardest part of the whole damn game for completionists: the time relics. There are 3 different kinds of relics: Sapphire, Gold, and Platinum. Sapphire relics are easy. Gold could require some practice, but they're not that tough. However, the Platinum relics, good God, the Platinum relics. The Platinum relics are the producer's times, and you basically have to land every jump perfectly, break every time box, and get just a little bit lucky. This is infinitely frustrating because, well, you have to take your time to learn the level, and that's part of the fun with Crash. Generally speaking, when I do these time trials, they have a nice ebb and flow for me. And with Crash Bandicoot Warped, it was no different. I would knock out 9, 10, maybe even 11 of these Platinum relics in about a half an hour to 45 minutes, and then get stuck on one for like 3 hours. Case in point, any of the ones involving Coco on the jet ski. Jesus Christ, they are so unfair. But if you want to extend the replayability of your game, there are other ways to do this, like with the trophies. While most trophies you'll accomplish anyways by completing the game, some are fun and silly. Often, a fun, wacky game is able to become popular just on charm alone, but Crash Bandicoot Warped backed up the fun wackiness with tight controls and lots of variety, and the N Sane Edition improves on all of this. I just wish there was a lot less time spent on the time trials and more time spent literally anywhere else. Crash 3 keeps the player invested throughout the game by unlocking abilities after every boss fight. Most are just subtle improvements, like a stronger body slam or a double jump, but others change gameplay completely, like the Death Tornado Spin. It causes your spin attack to last even longer and allow you to glide over obstacles. Or my favorite, the Fruit Bazooka. It's a bazooka that shoots Wampa fruits. While absolutely not necessary, it's an absolute blast to use, no pun intended. But the most useful ability of all has got to be the Crash Dash. It makes you run throughout levels faster. While it's not as flashy as the Fruit Bazooka or the Death Tornado Spin, this makes the time trials doable. However, there's one more addition made in the N Sane Trilogy version of Crash Bandicoot Warped, and that's Future Tense. Future Tense is a DLC level that wasn't originally developed by Naughty Dog. This was all Toys for Bob's and Vicarious Vision, and it's hard. And it's also a really long level, like really, really long. However, because of its length, this is one of the hardest levels to get the Platinum Relic on. Speaking of time trials, do you get anything for collecting everything in the game? Well, if you collect all of the crystals, gems, and relics, you'll unlock the true ending of the game, which features a baby Entropy and baby Cortex trapped in time fighting over Uka Uka. Cute, but I do have an issue. It's not with the ending itself or the fact that the game actually ends at 108%, but once again, those stupid relics. When they say you have to collect all of the relics, they don't mean the Platinum relics. It can be any relic at all, even just the easy Sapphire ones. Then what the hell is the point of getting the Platinum relics? They don't even add anything to your percentage at the end. These things actually double the amount of time I had to play the game, and while I had fun playing through most of them, in the end, the Platinum relics are just padding relics. When I completed Crash Bandicoot Warped, there were 102 deaths, 25 crystals found, 47 gems earned, including 5 colored gems, 31 platinum relics I wasted my time on, 34 hours of total playtime, and 1 tiger that can apparently pilot a spaceship. Pura is obviously short for pure awesomeness. Originally on the show, I gave this game the rating of Finna It, which is somewhere between finish it and complete it. However, you guys may have noticed I no longer do half ratings because I really believe that I should stick to my guns, and I'm going to do that today by saying, so, with that in mind, guys, I give Crash Bandicoot Warped to the N Sane Trilogy my completionist rating of finish it.
Finish it!
That's all the time for today, guys. So please, as always, let me know what you thought about today's episode somewhere on the internet. A big special thank you to our sponsor today, expressvpn.com. Again, if you want to sign up for that, it's expressvpn.com. And I think the code or the thing is /complete. So go check it out, support the show, support them. Thank you very much. Guys, I've been Gerard, and I'll see you this weekend for another episode of The Completionist. Bye!